What up, friends? Geoff Fienberg here with you for another edition of PGA Tour Outright Picks for oddschecker.com/US. Coming off the Cam Davis W. Find me a winner over 100 to 1. We certainly did last week with Cam Davis. Time to Barry Horowitz ourselves. That is 3 in our last 4 weeks here on oddschecker.com. Right, Cantley at the Memorial came up empty at the U.S. Open, but we had Bryson. He had the lead going to the 10th hole. Is what it is. Always love to hit majors. Unfortunately, couldn't do that. Bounce right back with the Travelers and English in a playoff, and then again our third straight playoff victory. Woo! Cam Davis. Oh man. Next time we get a bad playoff beat, just don't let me say a word. Don't let me say a word. 3 straight playoff wins. I'm still angry about our Finau playoff loss at Riviera and our Kisner playoff loss to Streb at RSM, but I can't complain anymore. I'm not allowed. Let's get into it. John Deere Classic. If you're new here, well, good luck. Let's see if we can do it again. Stay with me. We always bang them out, though. We always do. And if you're riding the heater, well, let's keep on keeping on, friends. John Deere Classic, TPC Deere Run. Talk about the most jabroni muck event on the calendar. Just when you think you've seen it all, Palmetto, they show you a field like this. It's been in front of the Open Championship for years. It's never been this bad. It's never been this bad. Nonetheless, we're here and there's an opportunity. Michael Kim hit at a huge number a couple years ago for Telly, hitting 70 or 80 to 1. The year before that, Bryson had his first ever win here. Skinny Bryson, remember him? People might even recall Jordan Spieth, his first ever win here. So nice stomping ground for players of this generation to have found that first win. Yes, I'm talking about you, Michael Kim, clearly. What? Nothing's changed here. 7,250 yards, par 71, bent grass greens, same story. You're going to have to have fantastic approach, good par 4 scoring, good par 5 scoring, and find a way to get really hot with that putter. Opportunities gained, that 150, 170 yard, 5-yard approach shot. That's the bread and butter. You know, this just used to be the Zach Johnson versus Steve Stricker Memorial Tournament. So to put in a nutshell, that's the type of profile we've seen have great success here. Weird to note that Fratelli won here, losing strokes on approach last year. But when you're absolutely dominant, I think gaining 12 strokes around the greens, and putting, I want to say combined, I guess that's the recipe. There's always a road. Where's our road going to start? Our road's going to start with our friend, almost got it done last week, was one of our sharks circling in the water for us, Alexander Noren. Played that 80 to 1 last week, so it could be a tough pill to swallow, but we're here at 31 to 1 using that odds checker grid on Alex Noren. Anyone that knows me long time knows that I'm a huge Alex Noren fan, that a North American PGA Tour breakthrough would just melt me inside. It's such a bad event. I love the guy, so it's easy for me to make this play. That being said, form player in form has shown this propensity to just be a bit of a different player than what we used to perceive him as on these birdie fest tracks. They really do seem to have worked for Noren in the last couple years. He straight dominates birdie fests. He's 6th in the field in average strokes gained per round in easy scoring conditions. He's been great on par 5s. He's 15th in the field in bent grass putting. He got a taste. He mentioned in his post-round interview Sunday, just feeling those jitters. He felt them on 18. He felt them on 18 trying to hit a putt that would have gotten him into the playoff. Evidently, he just missed it. But all signs in this field, to me, point for Alex Noren at 31 to 1. I'm really tempted. No, What should we do next? Siwoo Kim, 35-1. I wavered. Was I going to do it? Was I not going to do it? Push comes to shove, friends. For me, Siwoo Kim, who's a big game hunter, has the second best win equity in this field, in my opinion, ahead of Daniel Berger. Maybe I should have talked about the top of the board, or maybe there's nothing to talk about. Berger's the chalk, 11-1, followed by Sungjae Im and Brian Harmon, Kevin Streelman, Russell Henley. I mean, that kind of tells you all you need to know what we're in for. Quickly talking about Berger, I do want to say I'm not betting it, but I do believe there is much more value on Berger this week than there was Bryson last week. Yes, Bryson played bad. Yes, Bryson missed the cut. But Berger at 11-1 versus this field strength is actually a better opportunity than, say, Bryson at 7.5-1 versus last week's field strength. Sungjae's inconsistent, and the third guy on the tote board's Brian Harmon. We cashed a Berger ticket at Pebble Beach in a muck field already this year. And I assume they're going to send him out with Steve Stricker. That's just my guess. Thursday, Friday, he gets to play with Steve Stricker, show his stuff, earn those Ryder Cup points if he can't make the team auto. That's just my opinion. Siwoo Kim, I think he brings the win equity into this field in a tournament where so few players actually have win equity. He's obviously going to be trying to trend in the right direction as he skips the Open Championship in preparation for the Olympics, needs to medal in the Olympics. So guys like him and Sungjae Im and any other South Korean, although those are the only two playing, can avoid the mandatory military service. So let's just hope Siwoo can get in form. He's been far more consistent this year than in years past, an ability to sort of not just be like top three or bottom three, to kind of hover in the middle, but he's got a win this year. And I believe it's just a nice opportunity for Siwoo in Fuego ball striking. You could tell me I should be going farther up the board. I just can't resist it. Yes, last week we hit our bomb in Cam Davis, but I still had to bet my range, and my range was Neiman and Kokrak. And they were both right there for us on Sunday. So I'm doing that again here with these two picks. Farther up the board, not as far as I had hoped. Kind of had to throw up in my mouth when I saw the number. I had to lay, but when you feel it, you feel it. And I feel it right now for a guy that I have liked to refer to as a brick shithouse in Patton Kizzire. To me and my friends, when you're called a brick shithouse, that's a compliment. That's just referring to the size of the man and his build. Well, let's go, Patton. I do feel a win could be on the precipice for you in fields like this. He has shown an absolute thirst for birdie parties. 7th at the Sony, to a Kevin Na winning at a winning score in the 20s. 3rd to Jason Kokrak at the Charles Schwab. 3rd to the 25 under Byung-Hun An winning. I wish Byung-Hun An won. KH Lee. Geez, we've mentioned a lot of South Korean golfers. Wai Yang, KJ Choi, Sangmoon Bae. Who else are we missing? Let's get back on track. Patton Kizzire, he can absolutely spike with the putter. He has been spiking in these birdie bonanza events this year, sort of like my Noren pick. You've got to have this ability, in my opinion, to make it rain, to go absolutely fire low. To win this thing, you're going to have to get unconscious with the birdies for at least probably 2.5 days. Hold fort for one of them and be a clutch finisher on your back nine Sunday. Right? If you don't have 2 insane scoring days, you're not winning this week. Patton Kizzire finished with a 64 Sunday at the Rocket Mortgage. He was absolutely unconscious tee to green, hitting greens in regulation, and that sets up the putter where he can spike. We know that from Patton Kizzire. So I am all here on Kizzire, who also had a fire first round in Detroit and somehow made a triple. I think he got it to 7 and made a triple. How do you make a triple in Detroit? I don't know that I saw any other player make a triple in Detroit. So sure, even where you don't think landmines exist, they always kind of exist for Patton, but we're willing to bite that forbidden fruit. That is Patton Kizzire. One more play, Super Bomb, 150-1. RCB, Rafa Cabrera Bayo. Not really much tickled my fancy. I will not do tomorrow what I did last week in terms of just throw a bunch of long shots at you. I'll probably just stick to a normal prop situation. Granted, last week incredibly positive because it included the Cameron Davis pick. I just don't. Nothing is calling my name with these motley crew north of 100 to 1. Do they have an opportunity this week because the field's so bad? Absolutely. And will I get burned by not picking one of them? Likely, but that's just the reality. Rafa Cabrera-Bello, we've seen some spike rounds from Rafa recently. And then we've seen him follow up his spike round with another really good round. So we've seen him recently piggyback 2 rounds together as he tries to find himself. What do I need from you, Rafa? Let's turn 2 rounds into 3 rounds. And that takes us to Sunday. Fingers crossed, right? All we can ask for at 151 for you to give us a position on Sunday. So he turned 1 round into 2 rounds. Let's turn 2 rounds into 3 rounds. I know it's not the most data-driven logic you could think, but when you're betting in this range, this is what I got for you, a player with a ceiling that I believe supersedes most around him and has played well or has shown flashes of playing really well in some recent events. So those are the 4 bets I got for you today. Siwoo Kim, Alex, Noren, Patton Kizzire, 50 to 1 on that odds checker grid. And yeah, that is it. Use odds checker. Let's make sure we find the best lines available, because in fields like this, the discrepancy from book to book is a lot wider than we see in some of the higher end premier events, specifically majors, where there's much more of a consensus on most of the numbers. So use odds checker, get yourself the best number. I'm Geoff Fienberg. Like, sub, follow, comment, all that fun stuff. We'll be back later in the week with more picks for the John Deere. Hopefully we can keep the hot streak alive, friends. I'm out.